Good Day Orlando starts now with breaking news.
Crazy. Okay, we were in a club and we heard gunshots. Pop, 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 pop. That's all I heard. And then everybody started running. That's all the security was like, run, 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 run.
A terrifying scene, a mass shooting downtown Orlando. Orlando police confirming 2 people were killed, 6 others hurt after this overnight shooting. A 17-year-old suspect is now in custody. This is our top story this morning. Thanks for being here. It is now 7 a.m. I'm Amy Kaufeld.
Amy, good morning. I'm Ryan Elijah. Good morning to you as well. We've been following the story all morning long. So here's what we know right now. Video did capture by the downtown cameras showing thousands of people running. You'll notice the second the shots go off, they estimate 50 to 100,000 people were there, and that's what happened. Police said they got the reports of shots fired just after 1 a.m. This was near Orange Avenue and Central Boulevard.
Well, moments later, police received a second report of shots fired right near Orange and Washington, and that is where they arrested the 17-year-old suspect. An officer tackled him without firing any shots. His name, the suspect, is Jalen Edgar. 6 victims were taken to Orlando Regional Medical Center. We're told they are in stable condition. Again, 2 people were killed. According to Downtown Police Chief Eric Smith, more than 100 officers were in the downtown Orlando area.
And a few of those officers actually were there when the shooting happened. We continue with team coverage. Amanda McKenzie outside ORMC this morning. We start with Marley Capper joining us from downtown Orlando. And Marley, a lot of people downtown, a lot of officers, and a very quick response to this.
A very quick response to this. The suspect, 17-year-old Dwayne Edgar, has been arrested and is in police custody. I'm on the corner of Orange and Jefferson. It's just 1 block away from where this happened on Orange and Washington. Things look much calmer than they did a few hours ago, but I want you guys to take a look at some video. First of all, this one. There's a blur on your screen. Right by the blur, you can see the suspect shoot into the crowd and the people run away. Then I want you to take a look at this video when the suspect shoots into the crowd a second time. You can see the 2 police trucks there line up on your screen. The suspect is in a yellow shirt. We've circled him on the bottom right corner as police take him down quickly. And lastly, I want to show you this video of the thousands of people running for their lives. It's estimated between 50,000 to 100,000 people were down here to celebrate for Halloween. Here's what one person said.
We're trying to leave now. Like, we don't want to be down here no more. We're not coming outside no more.
The police chief says it appears the teen was not in downtown for long before opening fire. They were able to quickly get him handcuffed, like I had mentioned. They have already learned that this 17-year-old suspect, Dwayne Edgar, was charged for grand theft in 2023. So that will be one of the aggravating factors taking into consideration as whether he will be charged as an adult or a minor. Now, when we got here around 2 a.m., it was a much different scene. People were running around in their Halloween costumes. We saw people crying, rightfully so. We saw other people trying to call their friends, can you come pick me up? Because this street here from Robinson to Church Street has been blocked off for hours. It looks like some of it's clearing up now as traffic comes and as people wake up. But because it's been blocked off for so long, people haven't been able to reach their cars. So some people have been stranded. So very hectic, very chaotic scene. Certainly, I'm praying for those victims in the hospital as they recover. You know, this investigation is going to continue, and we do have that team coverage. But for now, reporting live in downtown Orlando, Marley Capper, Fox 35 News.
Marley, thank you. Live team coverage continues now with Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie.
She has been on this all morning as well. Joins us from outside Orlando Regional Medical Center, where 6 victims were taken last night and rushed there. What do we know about those victims, Amanda?
Well, right now, 6 of those victims are being treated here at ORMC emergency room for gunshot wounds. We are told that they are stable, but that is a very broad term for a condition. Right now, it is unclear if they are cooperating or even able to cooperate with the investigation at this time. The ages of the victims range from 19 to 39 years old. And to give you some perspective, this is just a little bit more than a mile away from where this mass shooting occurred on the same street on Orange Avenue, just down the road here in downtown Orlando. Now, overnight, during all of these Halloween celebrations, it is estimated as many as 100,000 people were in downtown when shots broke out, and there were more than 100 officers working detail. Several officers were just feet away from the gunman when the shooting happened and were able to capture him and take him into custody. Here's what Orlando Police Chief Eric Smith had to say about the instant response.
With that many people down there, we have no idea what people have, on their person, if they have grudges against somebody. Most people are down there to have a great time. And of course, you always get those few people who come down there who have different things on their mind.
Now, no officers fired their weapons. Police say they are assessing the need for increased patrols downtown for this weekend. So far, police have not released a motive in this shooting that left 2 people dead and 6 others injured. Reporting live from downtown Orlando, Amanda McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
Amanda, thanks. Of course, we're working to learn about exactly what happens moments before the shooting. You can watch that full press conference with Chief Eric Smith on our Fox Local app. We brought it to you live just before 5 a.m. this morning. And stay with us all morning long as we continue to get more updates. Still a lot of unanswered questions from this story. 7:04, let's get you out the door right now on this Friday morning with Brooks.
Good morning, Ryan. Well, we've got a very nice day ahead, breezy conditions, and much like yesterday, there may be a stray shower. Otherwise, high temps in the lower to middle 80s. A beautiful dawn here in Titusville. A live view from the Launch Credit Union camera. We're at 67 degrees. Over in Ocala, it is a little foggy in spots. We've got a little bit of low fog. You can see it here mingling between the trees as the first light of dawn presents on the horizon. It's also 67 degrees there. Fox 35 storm tracker radar is also looking at a couple of light showers here in Indian River County, trying to make their way into Osceola County, drying up before they do so, but we certainly could see a couple of showers this afternoon. Currently 70 at New Smyrna Beach. It's 66 right now in Leesburg, and in Melbourne it's 69 degrees. So to get you out the door this morning, your bus stop forecast will catch about 67 by 8, so a little less than an hour from now, and up to 85 by 3. But it won't be really humid. It'll just be really nice outside. There will be the ever-present threat of a stray shower, about a 20% chance. Coming up in your full forecast, we're going to take a look at the tropics. The tropics may be heating up next week. And we'll also take a look at our Fox 35 weather spotter reports. If you're a weather spotter, send in that report now, and I'll put it here on TV. All right, that's the latest from the Weather Center. Let's take a look at our Sky Fox traffic with Deborah. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brooks, and good morning to all of you at home. So Sky Fox is currently over the scene of downtown Orlando right now, where you can still see it is a very active scene. I know Marley and Amanda are out there. So if you do live in the downtown area, there are still some streets that are shut down right near the church area and Washington Street. So definitely, try to find another way out if you can. A couple of different crashes that I'm following as well. This one is on Narcoossee Road as you head northbound right near Jones Road, right at that intersection there. So this is just east of East Lake Toho. So just a heads up there. I'm not seeing a lot of red, which is good, but of course I'll continue to keep my eye on that. Looks like our cameras at I-4 Champions Gate are definitely showing what we tend to see at 7 o'clock in the morning. A lot of stop and go traffic there. So just a heads up, we are starting to see some of those slowdowns form in the Champions Gate area. And your drive times right now from Daytona to Orlando are still showing on-time commute of 42 minutes. 408 westbound, 417 to downtown, a 7-minute commute there. And then I believe our Champions Gate to downtown camera, our time will probably start to change here in a little bit, but give yourself an extra 10-15 minutes or so to get through some of that traffic. All right, I'll send things back to you, Amy and Ryan.
You decide 2024. More than 6 million people have already cast their ballots. That is nearly 45% of all registered voters in Florida. Early voting will continue statewide through Saturday, with some counties also open on November 3rd. So today, both former President Trump and Vice President Harris will bring their campaigns to Wisconsin. Each candidate will hold a rally in Milwaukee after visiting states in the Southwest just yesterday. This is all part of their closing pitch to any undecided voter.
The fate of our nation is in your hands.
I am putting it all on the field, and it's going to be a very tight race.
Today in Milwaukee, Harris is expected to speak at the Wisconsin State Fair, and Trump will hold his rally at the Pfizer Forum.
Early voting ending today in key battleground states like Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia. And Fox's Caroline Elliott is live at the polling location just outside of Atlanta with an update on early voting numbers. Caroline, good morning. We have seen really heavy early voting turnout in Florida. What does Georgia look like?
Yeah, Brian, well, we can tell you as early as 6:30 local time here, we were already seeing lines outside this polling location. And that's really the pace we've been seeing across the state for the last several weeks now. According to the Secretary of State, Georgia has nearly doubled early voting records, previous records, we should say. And election officials believe we could see up to 65% voter turnout by the end of today. And we're hearing most people are getting through the line in a matter of minutes at this point. And because of early voting, the Secretary of State says some polling locations could look like a ghost town on Election Day. Brian?
All right, Caroline, thanks for the update, and we will all find out. Of course, our early voting ends this weekend, and it's all set for Tuesday. All right, next on Good Day Orlando, a case of West Nile virus discovered in Marion County.
Of course, that comes from mosquitoes. What officials are doing to stop the spread. And I got to say, last night, Brooks, the mosquitoes were out with a vengeance.
Yeah, that's right. They were a lot of areas still dealing with an aftermath from Milton with clouds of mosquitoes. Well, speaking of the tropics, I'm tracking a system which may try and form here over the next couple of days. I'll show you the latest on what may develop and its possible track and impacts here in Florida.
Brooks, thank you. And again, we want to get back to that breaking news we're following this morning. A mass shooting in downtown Orlando overnight. 2 people were killed. 6 others were hurt. They are now in the hospital. And a 17-year-old suspect is in custody. We have live team coverage for you throughout the morning right here on Good Day Orlando.
For the latest on local and national races, Fox 35 is your home for election 2024.
7:14, that is a live look from Sky Fox this morning. Looking at downtown, of course, we know that 2 people were dead, 6 others injured by gunshots. There were nearly 50 to 100,000 people downtown. They did arrest a 17-year-old suspect almost immediately after that shooting. We have a couple crews downtown. Let's get to Brooks right now for weather.
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Weather-wise this morning, things are going to be fairly quiet and a pleasant day lay ahead. Here's a live view in Ocala, 68 degrees. Some low fog here, making for kind of a beautiful picture, but there could be a couple of areas on the roads where the fog gets locally dense, so of course be careful out there. Lake Fairview right now, live view for the Grills Lakeside Cam reveals some mid-level clouds, but otherwise clear skies and a nice start to the day with 68 degrees. Fox 35 storm tracker radar may illuminate this afternoon with a couple of showers coming in off of the Atlantic Ocean. At this point, we've had a couple of overnight showers, but most of the action down in Indian River County. Our exclusive Fox model featuring future clouds and radar features a southeast flow, which means that this afternoon we may have 1 or 2 of these pop up, the kind where it rains for about 5 minutes. Overnight, we'll see a little bit of patchy fog developing along the I-75 corridor, followed by what could be on Saturday, tomorrow, a slightly higher chance for rain, a 40% chance, thanks again to that southeast flow. Trend continues into the day Sunday, but Saturday looks to be the wetter of the 2 days, but it's not going to be wet enough to affect plans. You're just going to have some occasional showers you'll drive in and out of. Pretty typical Florida weather with a flow from the Atlantic. Karen Rice this morning had 63 in Ocala, 61 for Steve in Bellevue, Steve in DeBerry, 66, and Denise in Port Orange has 64 this morning. Meanwhile, farther south, as you'd imagine, it's a little bit warmer near the waters. 75 for Julie on Cocoa Beach. In Palm Bay, Michael Evans has 71, and Elizabeth Williams in St. Cloud has 71 degrees as well. 85 my forecast high in Orlando, 84 in St. Cloud, 84 my forecast high today in Palm Bay, 81 Daytona Beach, and 84 in Ocala. It's going to be one of those really pleasant afternoons, a busy breeze. All right, in the tropics, we've got a disturbance here near Puerto Rico, and the expectation of a disturbance developing in the Caribbean inside of the next 4 to 5 days. In fact, the National Hurricane Center is tracking this area for a potential, if not likelihood, of development by this weekend or early next week, a 60% chance. There's also a 10% chance here over the Southwest Atlantic, but most likely these two will kind of merge and produce a loosely organized but large area of low pressure, representing more of a rain threat than a wind threat at this time. But it could bring some rain to our region late next week, maybe. Nothing imminent at this time. There's no storm to track. I'll look at some of our computer models, an ensemble of models, suggesting about an 80% chance we'll see some development here in the Caribbean. So still pretty bullish in that regard, and that's because of the atmospheric conditions surrounding this region. It's favorable for development, and there's a lot of very warm ocean heat content over the Caribbean Sea. And that's pretty typical for this time of year. If you see development in November, it's most likely going to be down here. Now, as it tracks north, it encounters much cooler waters of the Gulf of Mexico and in the Southwest Atlantic, which would reduce any potential for anything that forms here to further strengthen, and in fact would likely lead to a rapid weakening. Here's the setup, though, because this is a little bit later on the onset. High pressure that was once protecting us may drift a little bit farther offshore, allowing an open corridor for whatever forms in the Caribbean to work a little bit closer to Florida. It doesn't mean we'd have a hurricane or anything like that, but it could mean that we have some enhanced rain chances late next week. Of course, there's so many what ifs because the storm doesn't exist yet, so we're tracking a ghost. But this is just one example of many, many computer models bringing kind of a loosely organized low pressure, maybe a trough here off of Florida for late next week, and that would definitely up the winds and our rain chances. So let's talk about the forecast. 85 degrees today, 84 tomorrow. Don't forget on Saturday night, technically early Sunday morning, starting at 2 a.m. We fall back for the end of daylight saving time. That's going to result in the sun rising earlier on Sunday at 6:39, but setting earlier at just 5:38. Election Day Tuesday, 30% chance for showers, followed by that enhancement of our rain chances late next week if we catch any of that tropical moisture. All right, let's take a look at our Staff the Sun this morning, and we've got a nice shot here from Charlie, a Port Canaveral view from a cruise. Nothing better than a sunrise at sea. And we'd love to share your photos. Go to fox35orlando.com/snap to upload them. It's a really easy to use website, and we'll put them on the air right here on Good Day Orlando. All right, speaking of on the air, Deborah Cho standing by with a look at our Skyfox traffic. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brooks. Well, Champions Gate's definitely seen a lot of traffic this morning, a lot of red. You can see here on the eastbound lanes there. Westbound lanes, though, not too bad, so no issues to report there if you are heading out. Lake Mary Tower camera is also picking up some of that congestion this morning, those westbound lanes, as drivers are headed towards the Longwood exit from the Lake Mary Boulevard exit this morning. Now, as far as any sort of like traffic crashes, I haven't seen too many, which is a good thing right now. The only one I'm seeing is the one on Narcoossee Road that I was showing you guys earlier, just east of Lake Toho. Other than that, it's really just Champions Gate that's the problem spot this morning. So as you're heading out the door right now, not too bad. Lake Mary Boulevard to Colonial Drive, you're looking at a 15-minute commute on I-4 westbound. Let's take a look, though, at our pump patrol prices this morning, where the time now is 7:19. We got $3.01 at the 7-Eleven in Castleberry on Cimarron Boulevard. Head over to our website. It's fox35orlando.com. Click on that More tab, and you'll get to the traffic page where we have pump patrol prices for you. Okay, Amy, I'll send things back to you.
Deborah, thank you. Now to a health alert. Another case of West Nile virus found in Marion County. The Florida Department of Health says that this one was locally acquired. That brings the total to 4 cases now in 3 months. The county is working on spraying areas to cut down on the amount of mosquitoes. Health officials say to empty out anything that holds water at least once a week. Of course, you're going to need to use bug repellent and keep screens on your windows. And if you were passing out candy to the trick-or-treaters last night or walking around, you know how vicious they were. They were everywhere.
We have been so busy this morning, I've not been able to say we didn't get a single trick-or-treater. I was so sad. We don't get a bunch. Well, last night we were shut out.
I will send some of ours to your house
Thank you.
next time. All right. Well, this morning we continue to follow that breaking news from downtown Orlando.
That is the overnight shooting we've been following. 2 people dead, 6 injured. Those 6 people are in stable condition. There is a teenage suspect, 17 years old, in custody. We will continue to keep you updated as we learn more. What about his past? We've learned that as well. That's coming up.
Still ahead on Good Day Orlando, our coverage of the presidential election will continue with Election Day just around the corner.
Up next, a political analyst is going to join us to break down the message each candidate is sending to voters at 7:26.
Fox 35's Community Calendar is brought to you by these sponsors. Good Day Orlando starts now with breaking news.
And that breaking news is from downtown Orlando. Surveillance video. Look at this, showing panic. On the night of Halloween, 2 people were killed. 6 others were hit by gunfire after a shooting that happened downtown. It is our top story this morning. Thank you so much for being here. It's now 7:30. I'm Amy Kaufeld.
I'm right, Elijah. We've been following the story all morning long. We have been bringing team coverage. Let's continue that with Amanda McKenzie outside of ORMC this morning. We start, though, with Marley Capper from downtown Orlando with an update on where that investigation stands. Obviously, a huge focus on this, Marley.
Good morning. A huge focus. There was 8 victims in total. 2 were killed. 6 are in stable condition at the hospital. But the suspect is 17 years old. He was arrested, and the scene here looks a lot different than it did just a few hours ago. I'm here on the corner of Orange and Washington. The streets are now open and operating. This is where the second shooting happened. The first one was just a block away at Orange and Central. Take a look at this video. There's a blur on your screen. Right by that blur, you can see the suspect shoot into the crowd and see the people run away. Then look at this video when the suspect shoots into the crowd a second time. You can see the 2 police trucks lined up. The suspect is in a yellow shirt and runs in the bottom right corner. You can see it circled on your screen, police taking him down. And lastly, I want to show you this video of thousands of people running for their lives. It's estimated between 50,000 to 100,000 people were down here to celebrate Halloween. Here's what some witnesses had to say.
Okay, we were in a club and we heard gunshots. Bop, 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 bop.
It's scary. We're trying to leave now. Like, we don't want to be down here no more. We're not coming outside no more.
Certain clubs were kicking people out. Certain clubs were locking everyone in.
Police say that the teen was not in downtown Orlando for long. We've also learned that he was arrested back in 2023 for grand theft. That will be taken into consideration when considering if he's going to be tried as an adult or a minor. I've been talking to people all morning long. When we got here around 2 a.m., people were still walking around in their Halloween costumes, terrified. Some people were crying. Some people couldn't access their car. Seconds ago, I talked to a gentleman who said that him and his wife were trying to come out here. He was like, let's go downtown and have fun. But his wife was like, I'm too tired. He says that potentially saved their life because they went to bed early instead. So definitely praying for all of the victims involved. And we know that police are continuing their investigation. But for now, reporting live from downtown Orlando, Marley Capper, Fox 35 News.
Yeah, and Amy, it's like parents wake up and think, were my kids downtown last night? That's the problem.
Absolutely, because especially a lot of the college students in the area, they all congregate downtown. Our live team coverage continues now.
Amanda McKenzie at the hospital. We know there are 6 victims there, Amanda, and they range in various ranges.
Absolutely. Those victims, 6 of them were taken here to ORMC just a little bit more than a mile down the same road from where that shooting occurred, ranging in ages from 19 to 39 years old. Officials tell us they are stable, but that is a very broad term for a condition. So right now it is unclear if these victims are cooperating or even able to cooperate with investigators. I asked the police chief if these victims were known to the suspect. Right now he says that is all still part of the investigation. Now, last night there were as many as 100,000 people in downtown when shots broke out, and more than 100 officers were working detail. Several officers were just feet away from the gunman when the shooting happened and were able to capture him and take him into custody. Here's what the state attorney, Andrew Bain, had to say at the news conference at OPD headquarters.
Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with the several victims that we have tonight. And so we're going to do our job to make sure that, we secure justice for those victims.
No officers fired their weapons. Police say they are assessing the need for increased patrols downtown for this weekend. The identities of the 2 people killed have not yet been released while police work to notify their families. Meanwhile, the motive is still unknown at this time into why this 17-year-old opened fire on Halloween night, killing 2 people and injuring 6 others. Reporting live in downtown Orlando, Amanda McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
Amanda, thanks. So many questions. We were working to learn more about what happened moments before the shooting. You can watch the full press conference with Police Chief Eric Smith. We brought it live to you this morning just before 5 a.m. It's on our Fox local app now. Stay with us all morning long as we continue to get updates from downtown. Let's get to Brooks right now to see the latest on this Friday morning weather-wise.
Good morning, Ryan. Well, we've got some fog in Ocala right now. It's 70 degrees. Actually, a very aesthetically beautiful composition of this live tower cam in Ocala. As far as the weather goes elsewhere, there's less fog. It's pleasant in Titusville right now at 67, but some puffy clouds coming in from the Atlantic. And from under these clouds, we may see a few showers through the day today. Fox 35 storm tracker radar right now is quiet, although we've had a couple of showers overnight and a few more hanging offshore. So today there's a 20% chance for rain. Our exclusive Fox model featuring future clouds and radar pulls the southeast flow into the region, not just today, but also tomorrow, where there could be just a little bit more rain involved. 40% chance between 1 and 5 o'clock tomorrow. Fast hitters, brief showers, nothing to cancel your plans over, but just in the air. So it's not going to be a totally dry weekend for us, unfortunately, but it's not going to be a rain out either. Pretty Florida-like, actually. We might even have some rainbows out there in the skies. 72 in Orlando, 67 Daytona, 76 at Cocoa Beach, 59 in Gainesville. If you're on vacation and you're wondering what I meant by a very Florida forecast, it is known here that we get these kind of random showers from time to time just because we're lodged between 2 subtropical bodies of water. So there's a lot of inherent humidity and moisture that can very easily produce some showers. Well, let's talk about the bus stop forecast. Through 8 o'clock, 67 degrees. And on the way home today on this Friday afternoon, the day after Halloween, 85 degrees. So it'll be on the warm side for sure. Now coming up, we are tracking the tropics. There's a disturbance in the Caribbean that is likely to become a tropical system inside of the next 7 days, and a possibility that another tropical wave in the Atlantic may actually interact with this and influence that ultimate development. We'll talk about if we'll see any impacts here in Florida and when that may happen. All right, Sky Fox traffic time. Deborah Cho is on it. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brooks. Let's take a look at our cameras down from Champions Gate all the way to downtown Orlando this morning. So I-4 US 27 11 at Champions Gate. We're going to see those slowdowns there as we usually expect to see in the morning hours. Celebration, though, things start to get a lot better. Attractions, cars are moving just fine. And then in the downtown Orlando area, looks like a little bit of slowdown there, right as you're getting closer, excuse me, to the Orlando Metro. So just a heads up this morning, for most part, most of the spots this morning, your normal ones, you're going to see some of those traffic congestions. Now, as far as your drive times from Daytona to Orlando, you're looking at a 48-minute commute there. Seeing some slowdowns right in the Lake Mary area, but other than that, things are looking good. All right, I'll send things back to you guys at the desk.
Deborah, thank you. You decide 2024. According to a new Fox News poll, Vice President Harris and former President Trump both have a path to victory on Election Day.
The poll gives Harris 226 presumptive Electoral College votes. Trump appears to have 230. They need the right combination of battleground states to get to that magic number, which is 270. Right now, both candidates are focused on key states out west.
With your vote in this election, I will end inflation. I will stop the massive invasion of criminals into your state, and I will bring back the American dream.
I will enact the first ever federal ban on corporate price gouging on groceries. I will fight to make sure that hardworking Americans can actually afford a place to live.
Vice President Harris announcing she will spend election night at her alma mater, Howard University. Trump will spend the night at West Palm Beach. He'll be having his celebration at Mar-a-Lago. We want to bring in Dr. Susan McManus now. She is a distinguished university professor emerita at USF and a political analyst. We've had her on a number of times. Great to see you. Thanks for being with us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And we'll find out Wednesday morning. If you don't like negativity, maybe putting the phone down or Twitter on Monday might be the way to go, or Wednesday, we should say. Dr. McManus, got to leave it there. Always good to have you on.
Thank you very much.
7:41 is the time. We got a quick break. A very busy morning here on Fox 35. We'll continue to follow the shooting downtown when we come back.
Good Day Orlando is brought to you in part by Launch Credit Union. Go beyond. Today's Weather Baby is sponsored by attorney Dan Newlin.
Welcome back. We continue to follow breaking news downtown Orlando. 6 people are in the hospital after being shot last night. They are all suffering gunshot wounds. 2 people were killed. And you can see on the left side of your screen is a live look at Orlando Regional Medical Center, ORMC, where those 6 victims are now in the hospital in stable condition. Again, 2 others were killed. There is a teenager in custody this morning. We are working to learn more about how all of this got started and if there was any type of motive. 7:45 right now. We are going to check in with Brooks now and see how your Friday forecast is looking. Brooks?
Good morning, Amy. Well, we've got a day today featuring very nice weather. It's currently 66 in Ocala. Look at the fog here, though. A little bit of low fog, making for kind of a beautiful picture, but one which could feature limited visibility if you kind of go into one of those little dips and the fog is developing. So be careful there. Here's a live shot from Titusville. Just a beautiful sunrise here. 67 degrees. This is our Launch Credit Union camera. And here's a look at our weather headlines. Stray showers possible today, coming in off of the Atlantic, but very nice. Rip currents at the beaches all weekend long. And then the tropics, there's a system that may try and form in the next several days. It's not yet officially a system, but there's a potential one will develop. Fox 35 storm tracker radar quiet for now, but we're going to see a flow from the east, which means a 20% chance for a couple of quick hitting passing showers during the day today. And then tomorrow, with the arrival of a little bit more of that moisture, we'll have a slightly higher chance for rain at 40% between 1 and 5 o'clock. Kind of at random. I wouldn't cancel any plans, but it's just a matter of the flow coming in from the east. Well, this morning, our Fox 35 weather spotters, 66 for Jeffrey and Deltona, Steve and Bellevue, 61 degrees, Karen and Ocala, 63 degrees. Farther to the south, we've got temperatures in the mid-70s for Julie and Cocoa Beach, 63 this morning for Dan and Chandra and Oviedo, and 71 for Michael Evans in Palm Bay. Let's get you out the door this morning, this 1st of November. Temperatures will warm from where they currently stand to about 79 by 11 and 83 by 1. I'm forecasting a high today of 85 degrees. In the tropics, we've got a likely chance of development here in the Caribbean. There's nothing there now. There's not a system there now. It's just partly cloudy, but there could be inside of the next 7 days. Actually, you know what? As of 8 o'clock, they've just upgraded it to now likely. It's probably at a 70% chance there. So updating the map in real time right now. So now we have a likely chance of development now, a high chance in red. And so here's the scoop. Nothing has really changed. The system could form as soon as this weekend. It could bring rain to the area here late next week if it forms, but there's nothing imminent. That said, this is also a second little disturbance north of Hispaniola NOAA that could develop. So the thinking actually with the models is they may kind of like mingle with each other and make a broad area of low pressure. We'll talk about that here in just a second. By the way, going to the beach is 67 degrees right now. We've got a pretty strong onshore flow, high risk for rip currents, so be very careful if you're going to the beaches. The high risk of rip currents all weekend long. High tide close to 8:30 this morning with a low tide this afternoon close to 3 p.m. Waves of 3 to 5 feet. All right, so as far as the tropics go, you can see those partly cloudy skies, and the likelihood of development now in the Caribbean Sea at over 80% here south of Jamaica, according to our computer models. That's thanks to favorable atmospheric conditions as well as favorable ocean conditions with high ocean heat content. But if something does develop here and then tracks into the Gulf of Mexico, which looks possible, there's very little available ocean heat content to sustain a tropical system and allow it to grow. So if something forms, it would likely slowly or even quickly weaken as it approaches not just cooler waters, but high atmospheric wind shear as it makes its way toward the Gulf Coast. Now, because of the later onset of this, the protective high pressure center, which would normally deflect it west, is actually going to kind of drift out into the open Atlantic, allowing for what could be a slightly northern trajectory, allowing this low to come closer to Florida by the end of next week. That would result in rain developing here Thursday, and it could be heavy at times in places. But it's too soon to say because there's no way to tell where this is going to form. It could form in multiple locations, and until we have a center of low pressure, we don't even have a hint of one yet. We'll have no idea where it's going to go because it doesn't exist yet. But some of the models are just speculating, we could have influences here in the Eastern Gulf. So this is a watch and wait situation, but I'm not expecting anything major, although heavy rain can't be ruled out. All right, let's talk about the 7-day forecast. We fall back for the end of daylight saving time Sunday morning at 2. Get ready for some early sunsets before 6 p.m. Election day, a couple of showers around, but weather should not be an issue. And then late next week, we get into the rain chances. Well, it's time for our Fox 35 weather baby this morning. Let's take a look at the latest. This is Keelan in DeLand. Baby Keelan is 7 months old, loves to smile, stroll around in his walker, and loves to eat his snacks. Don't we all? How cute. Well, send your weather baby photos into fox35orlando.com/weather-babies, and we'll feature your bundle of joy right here on A Good Day Orlando. Okay, that is the latest. Deborah, how is it looking in our Skyfox traffic? It's been busy for you today, too. There.
Yeah, it definitely has this morning. Now, as far as those crashes are concerned, I-95, as you're going southbound, it looks like a shoulder is blocked right as you're passing the Bonita Causeway. I'm not seeing any red on the map yet, so it looks like so far, hopefully it's not too bad because it is off to the shoulder. But you can see really for the most part, no major incidents that should delay your morning commute other than down at Champions Gate. You'll notice slowdowns there. And then also in our Lake Mary area, if you're coming in from Volusia County into Seminole County, you might notice some slowdowns right in this spot that we tend to see it right at the Lake Mary Boulevard exit. As far as your drive times are concerned this morning, a little bit not too bad. It looks like maybe though on the 408, looking at a 12-minute commute instead of a 7. Champions Gate to downtown, you're looking at a 37-minute commute instead of your 23 minutes on I-4 eastbound. All right, I'll send things back to you, Amy and Ryan.
Deborah and Brooks, thank you. We'll get ready for liftoff. UCF set to host Arizona tomorrow for the annual Space Games.
A special part of the matchup is the Out of This World theme for the uniform. So this year they're in a salute to NASA's Artemis program, which is looking to put humans back on the moon. The side stripe on the pants represents speed. The pants will have the Artemis mission patch. The uniform's developed with the help of Exolith Lab. They're a state-of-the-art facility near campus exploring the relationship between moon dust and machinery.
This year to have been able to have, the jerseys represent some of the work that we do here. That was very exciting for everybody.
UCF, of course, in a rough patch. They come in with a 5-game losing streak. The Knights are favored on Saturday. They've never lost a space game. Let's hope that continues this weekend.
Orlando City and Charlotte today for the second game of their playoff series. The Lions won Game 1 at home over the weekend. That was 2-0. With a win, Orlando City will advance to the next round. If they lose, then Game 3 will be held back here in Orlando. That would be on November 9th.
Go Lions. And of course, we continue to stay on top of breaking news this morning. We've been covering since early this morning.
And we want to get right over to Danielle. She's got a preview of what's coming up the next hour.
I certainly do. Good morning, guys. An overnight shooting in downtown Orlando leaves 2 people dead this morning. Orlando Police Chief Eric Smith confirms 6 other victims are now in stable condition in an area hospital. It happened with thousands of people in downtown Orlando for Halloween. A 17-year-old suspect is now in custody. We are bringing you live team coverage, breaking down some new video in this investigation. And the end is near. What we're talking about here is Election Day. It is right around the corner. Fox's Doug Luzader will join us from Washington for an update on the presidential race. We are at 7:52. The 8 o'clock hour of Good Day Orlando starts in just 8 minutes. We'll see you then.
Good Day Orlando is sponsored by Grills Lakeside. Good Day Orlando is sponsored by Frank Gay Services, your trusted AC, electrical, plumbing, and drains expert since 1976.
Welcome back. 7:56 happening today. The U.S. employment report for the month of October set to be released should give us a final snapshot of hiring and unemployment ahead of the presidential election. The report is set to be released in just over half an hour at 8:30 this morning. And of course, ahead at 8, we continue to stay on top of the breaking news. We've been following that mass shooting in downtown Orlando, leaving 2 dead and 6 injured. There is a 17-year-old suspect in custody.
We do have multiple reporters that are tracking the latest in this investigation. We're going to take you back to the scene right after this quick break.